that 60 to 80% of the food you consume today, in fact, the food you consumed yesterday, the food you consumed today, and the food you consumed during the festive season was actually produced by a woman. And you heard me right. A woman. According to research, 60 to 80% of the world's food being produced are produced by women. But ironically, research also shows that 70% of the world poor are women. Now I wonder, how is it that women who produce the food we eat are actually one of the poorest in the world, who live on less than $2 per day? Based on this, I have worked in the agricultural space for over 4 years. I've worked with over 400,000 smallholder farmers. And in my experience working with them, I've been able to provide finance, extension services, and other resources needed for them to produce the food we consume. But what I've realized is that there are two major issues facing women within this space. One, women and youth face more challenges than their male counterparts. Two, we have lesser women representation within the entire agricultural space. I will use the case study of Northern Nigeria. Northern Nigeria is being used because that is where majority of the food produced in Nigeria comes from. Now, within Northern Nigeria, you realize that 70% of the Northern Nigerian girls actually do not attend school. Some of them do not attend secondary school. Some of them do not attend primary education. And some of them drop out of school. Hence, you don't have university certificate holders. Due to this, at a very young age, as early as sometimes 13 years old, 15 to 19 years old, they are married off. And because they are married off, you have the highest rate of adolescent childbearing and adolescent marriages. Women within these communities sometimes are objectified in the sense that all their worth is in the kitchen. All their worth is to get married and bear children. And that is what they are seen as. These women are stopped from working by their siblings or their husbands. Furthermore, most of these women are unemployed and unemployable. How can you employ a woman who did not go to school, who does not have skills? Now, some women who actually overcome these challenges and barriers and enter into some sectors, such as the agricultural sector, face challenges again. They face more challenges than their male counterparts within the Nigerian agricultural sector. The Nigerian agricultural sector as a whole actually has lots of challenges. Now imagine there's lots of challenges within this space. How much more does a woman within this space? These women face challenges such as lack of access to finance. They don't own lands. Most of them don't inherit lands. They don't know how to read and write. They don't have bank accounts. They are not bankable. They are uncreditworthy. So they cannot access finance. These women lack access to information and inputs. Because of the traditional and religious upbringing, it is believed that most of the trainings that have been good agricultural practices that have been given to smallholder farmers, the women cannot attend because 90% of the trainees and the attendees are men. So when she wants to go, her husband will be like, or her brother or her siblings or whoever she's with will say, there are more men in that space. Or stay at home and take care of the children. Besides, it's just for you to go to the farm. Why do you need to learn? The main thing is that 60 to 80% of the women are actually laborers. They are not the farmers. These women during production are the laborers who labor morning to night under hot sun during rainy season, picking. These women are the women that after harvest does the sorting. These same women are the ones that after harvest does the drying. They work all day just to earn less than $4. $4. Now that same money, immediately they go home, is being used to either cook, to either use it for the basic necessities of the home, or sometimes their husbands collect it. Now, how would she save? Another problem we've realized in the agricultural space is that in the past 6 months, over $100 million have been put into agricultural investments. But most of the beneficiaries of these investments are men. You'll see a project which says that 10,000 beneficiaries have been made. 30,000 indirect beneficiaries are women. But when you dig deeply, you realize that out of the 10,000 beneficiaries, who are the main beneficiaries who own the farms? Actually men. The other beneficiaries are the pickers, the sorters, who are the women. So at the end of the day, the women are not actually receiving this investment opportunity to grow. I've sat on several panels discussing different policies and different issues that face the agricultural sector. But one thing I've realized is that there are lesser women representation in these panel discussions, in these high-level discussions. We lack women in mid to senior management roles. We also lack women in high-level policy making that is related to agriculture. And when you look at most agribusinesses or companies within the agricultural value chain, and you check their staffs, you realize that there are less than 30% female representation. So then how are we going to solve the solutions facing women if women are not hearing their voices within this space? How? I begin with saying women produce 60 to 80% of the world food. Most people will say that's a myth and it needs to be debunked. And that's because 60 to 80% of the labor force are actually women. It's not a myth. What we need to do is actually find solutions that will ensure that these women who are part of the labor force are empowered to own their own farms. They are empowered, they are trained, they are upskilled to own their own farms or agribusinesses. These women are infused and invested in to start becoming extension service agents, machinery service providers. They already have the knowledge. They just need a small push to do this. We also need to create rural accelerator hubs within rural communities situated in the agricultural zones of Nigeria. And these new rural accelerator hubs need to attract young women to proffer solutions. Social enterprises, they are smart. If you talk to a rural woman, you realize she's smart. She just needs that small push to be able to create that social enterprise that will solve local solutions in a global way. Finally, we need to invest in women. There are some agricultural value chains that are termed as women value chains, especially the likes of cocoa production, shea butter production, or planting, and granuts. How do we then attract more women to go into these value chains? Is by investing in them. Not just investing in the sense of investment, but investing in ensuring their produce becomes export values. And I believe that once all this is done, once the deep-rooted problems within the agricultural spaces facing women is uprooted and a new seed is planted, then women will actually not only just feed Africa, but the world. Thank you very much.